of horses were loaded for a long trip to Smokey Bear.
We tethered up some wood.
The horses neighed, and the first train set forth.
We stayed behind to get more wood. In the train, there were many Indians, too.
Urgh! We skipped along the train tracks until the next train came.
This wood is heavy, we said. Then we piled our wood next to the tracks.
We ate lunch, pickles, and
cheese.
When the train sounded close, we climbed up on the rocks. Then a horse trotted away and was gone.
Where are you?
Said Richard Simmons.
Richard Simmons heard. There he was on the other side of the hill.
But the train was here, and we jumped off the rocks onto the train.
But Richard Simmons ran after the horse.
Now I have to ride you all the way to Smokey Bear.
But it was too late.
The horse ran away, and he was
Gone.
So Richard Simmons had to walk an hour for
the next train. The train came by and it didn't stop.
He's still there.
But at least he had a cigarette.
And it said,
No smoking.
Came the sound of his last smoke as he crushed the butt under his heel.
While he waited, the horse ran away from the railroad to find a kind home.
The horse was named Butterscotch.
Butterscotch.
But we didn't find this out until later.
The train we were on arrived at Smokey Bear.
The Indians and horses jumped out.
But we were on top of the train and we jumped onto the horses and pushed off the Indians.
Oh no! Screamed the Indians. It's the wooden robots!
Yeah!
65 years ago, your father killed my mom,
said the Indians.
That, said an Indian, was 65 years ago. They were arguing,
bitching and moaning.
But we rode the horses into the town of Smokey Bear.
The only wooden robot who had his father was Gulpy Goodpaste. I asked Gulpy.
Is it true?
Gulpy Goodpaste said, yeah.
Dad wanted that Indian mom's horse and accidentally pushed her under a train. By then we were on Main Street in Smokey Bear.
Out of nowhere, Butterscotch
appeared and neighed. Butterscotch went to the forest.
The wooden robots were chasing Butterscotch to the river, and from the river, Richard Simmons came! The people from Smokey Bear came out of their homes, and the Indians also followed us to the river. Everyone looked at the river.
Well,
I said.
Gulpy said it was an accident.
Butterscotch was an old horse.
I remember an old lady Indian that got run over by a train when Gulpy's dad jumped on me 65 years ago,
said Butterscotch.
The Indian who lost his mother said,
But in all these years, that wooden robots have jumped off the train in Smokey Bear and have taken our horses. Nobody ever died before or since. And I'm really upset about that.
So said Gulpy.
The Indians shot burning arrows at poor Gulpy Goodpaster.
Somebody jumped in the river
Splash!
and put out the fire.
Splash!
You Indians, we hate you.
I was the only wooden robot who didn't want to fight the Indians.
I was the only wooden robot who didn't want to fight
I was the only
Indians.
wooden robot who
I
didn't
jumped
want
on
to fight the
butterscotch
Indians.
and rode away.
I jumped on butterscotch and rode away.
But Richard Simmons got on another horse
and chased us.
The
next day, we Indians,
and all went to USA to fight
the Indians won.
and parted.
The end.
The end. The trip to Smokey Bear.